Alright, so for our first Sally Out in part 2 of the Sally Out compilation video, this is a 4 versus 4 on the city of Tarsus, and defending it, we've got Nabatea, Galatia, the Odrysian Kingdom, and Tylus, and attacking we've got Seleucid, Egypt, Sparta, and finally Arverni. So the Sally Out that we're going to see is going to be coming right from this place right here. Let's see, we've got 4 units of Thracian Royal Cav, 2 units of Light Horse, and 1 unit of Mercenary Cappadocian. Scythe Chariots, 2 Noble Horse, and 2 Desert Heavy Lancers. Alright, so let's go ahead and hit play and get this one going. As you can see, Nabatea is going right out with its Lancers. One thing I would suggest here, try to do these one at a time, not all, like both of them bunched like this. You can see how it's causing a bunch of a real bad clog there. Now we've got the Galatian Noble Horse coming through as well. So Nabatea has taken his Desert Lancers, Heavy Lancers, over off to the left here. And I think maybe Galatia... Nope, Galatia's going to go left as well. And then maybe they're going to hold back some of this stuff. Yeah, they might be holding back this stuff. What they're probably trying to do at this point is by pulling Cav over this way, you can see that it is forcing Arverni to move his cavalry and spears to respond in this direction. And I bet you that he's going to bring out his chariots. Yeah. So as you can see, I mean, it's not bad. You know, Arverni's army here, looking at it, is actually pretty well equipped for this issue. They have a lot of spears, which is interesting for the attacking. 1, 2, 3, 4 units of chosen spearmen, 2 units of heavy horse, and a noble horse gen. So they actually have quite a bit of tools to use against cavalry. And now you can see the side chariot is out and also visible. Yeah, they're just kind of holding here. And now Galatia's noble horse, or light horse, is coming out now. And then we got the Thracian Royal Cav is going to be next. Thracian Royal Cav is one of my favorites. They actually have a Javi capability, which is really nice to have from a cavalry unit. Alright, now we can also see Arverni's archers here. Gallic hunters are starting to pop up. Now what's interesting is they're leaving them pretty exposed. They're taking their cav over this way, and they've got their spears here. And also, the defending artillery is really starting to shell, especially this stuff back here. I usually try to suggest keep your units drawn out long like this, because when you're real clumped up like this, you make a real juicy target for artillery. Oh, and look at the... Man, yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. By pulling his cav over here and using his spears over here, he left his archers completely exposed there. He is sending in his chosen swords to go help deal with it, but he might lose this archer unit. And now Arverni's cavalry is really just starting to get pretty surrounded here. Or, well, outnumbered at least. If I was Galatia, I might be maybe taking like this guy around or something. But the side chariots are getting into Arverni's troops now. They are locked down by the Desert Heavy Lancers. So now the side chariots can really kind of get right into this. Here comes the Galatian Cappadocian Cav. They kind of went around right through here and are coming around behind, hitting the back areas here. These side chariots are already racking up quite a bit. 125 on them. Egypt ended up sending some Tarentine Cav to come help. I'm not sure how much help they're really going to be, just because it's a missile Cav. You know, maybe if they were using their Javies against the side chariots, that would probably do some more. Yep, and here comes the noble, or the royal Cav from the Odrysian Kingdom. There's a really nice Javi toss. Didn't do too much there, but this is a really, really good Cav unit here. Man, look at that. He just blasted through that chosen sword. Now we've got another unit. Looks like he's probably going to come over this way and help with the Galatian Cav. Maybe get into that Arverni heavy horse or something. The Nabatean Scythe Chariots are still going really strong. They just took a really good volley from that Chosen Sword, though. Did they take any? They're lucky. They only lost the one chariot there. But they are up to 520 kills. Chariots, the best way to use them is by locking down the enemy unit and then hitting it with the chariot, because then the unit can't really respond or run away or fight back, really. Yeah, the Royal Cav, the Thracian Royal Cav, was kind of the last one that got into the combat here. But they are just kind of ping-ponging between different units. Got to be real careful with these Chosen Swords, though. Now, Osworn, Arverni, even though I really think he actually was relatively decently, had a pretty decent army to go against this, he really didn't play it very well. These spears just got destroyed, and, they are the perfect defense against cavalry. He actually had 3 units of cav, including his gen. That is quite a bit for an attacker, so it's not like he was undermanned by any means. But also, he was way far away from his allies. Sparta's his nearest ally, and he's all the way over here. I don't think Sparta had any cavalry. Oh, we had the 1 cav, which right now isn't doing anything. It's just standing there. 50 out of 80, 24 kills. These Thracian Royal Cav are really still doing well. They're over 75 kills each. This guy's at 48. They finally cleaned up Arverni's cavalry there. But, I just think this, Arverni left himself very exposed. He had spear line like this, and then Cav over here, but then he had his archers in here, and the Cav just went right for him. I don't know. I don't think that was a very good defense against the cavalry. And as you can see, Arverni's units are very, very depleted. He wasn't completely destroyed, but he really doesn't have much left. 140, 128, 62, 46, very, very depleted units. And he's going to have to take this entire area here with it, and I don't think he has enough anymore. It's going to be hard enough anyways, and now look, he's still getting hit by this cavalry back here. The Thracian Royal Cav is still coming in. I would not do this. Don't use the arrowhead formation against the infantry. It really just doesn't pack enough punch. It's pretty decent against enemy cavalry, just not very good against infantry. Honestly, I'm really surprised that, Galatia actually still has his cavalry as well. The Thracian Cav is going to come around, get into these guys. One of them is actually already gone. Look at that, he got hit pretty hard there. And then Galatia still has Cappadocian and light noble horse. And his two noble horses. Looks like his light horses are already gone. This Thracian Royal's at 97 kills. But I mean, just look at the destruction that was wrought on Arverni here. And the other part is, look, Sparta and Seleucid and Athens are all pretty much at the walls now and attacking, and Arverni's out or delayed. They can't attack, which is really, especially right here, it's going to basically make it where Sparta is going to get double teamed between Galatia and Nabatea, and even especially now that Galatia's leftover cav is going to come over this way, which I think is the right call. Arverni is pretty much ruined, so come over here and get some of the exposed Spartans, Alright, well that I believe is pretty much it for this one. So let's go ahead and move on to number 2. Alright, and for number 2 on today's Cav Sally Out video, we have the city of Delminium. And for this one, we've got a 4 versus 4. As the defenders, we've got the Odrysian Kingdom, Egypt, Galatia, and Macecily. And attacking, we have Epirus, Macecily again, Bactria, and Boii. So the sally out for this one can be coming right back this way against Boii, because Boii is basically all by itself. Bactria is over here, but as you can see, Bactria is going to have some issues of its own. We've got 2 units of some Macecily Numidian riders over here. But over here, Bactria itself really doesn't have any cavalry. Boii doesn't have any cavalry, but Bactria does have a unit of citizen cavalry over here. Boii pretty much looks like he basically decided to put his archers all the way back here, just in case, I guess. And he also has one of them on this siege tower right here, which is kind of interesting. We'll go ahead and hit play because that cav is coming right out. It is in the form of 2 Galatian mercenary Cappadocian cav, 2 Thracian royal cavalry, some Egyptian cav, and I think that's going to be it, yeah. So the Galatians are out first. They are taking some fire from the Scorpions on top of the siege towers here. The Thracians are coming out next. Let's see. So Bactria isn't quite moving yet, probably because he's already, distracted. He did have another unit of citizen cav on his side, which is helping deal with the Numidian riders over there. He has seen it now, so he is getting ready to go into the Galatian cav over here. Cappadocians really did a good job just kind of splitting between. He's just going between the units, which is probably a good idea by him. Axe Warriors here, Axe Warriors there. There's also the Thracian Royal Cav came in and hit these Axe Warriors, and now the other one's going to come in and hit the Citizen Cav here. And Egypt's Cav looks like he's going to kind of come around this way. But look at this, Galatia was able to weave his way all the way around, and look who's all by themselves over here. And Boii is trying as much as he can to get these archers away. He might even be trying now just to get some volleys off on them. Yep, look at that. Now his Levy Freeman got a really nice Javi volley off, but the Cappadocian Cav made it right in. Bactria's Cav just got defeated by the Thracian Royal Cav. But Boii does have an Oathsworn here, which is going to be really tough for the Thracian Royal Cav to go at. Looks like Egypt is once again just trying to get around, while the Thracian Royal Cav is kind of distracting the infantry of Boii. The lighter units of Egypt and Galatia have really done a great job of just getting around the sides of these units. The Thracian Royal Cav are both at 53 kills. The Egyptian Cav there haven't got in, neither of these guys, but the Cappadocians have, I believe, 47. That's not bad at all. Wait, these guys don't have any? Really? Where's the other Cap? There it is. 158 on that other one. Yeah, that's what I thought, just getting into those archers. He had to have gotten a lot of kills there. The Thracians moved away from the Oathsworn just because charging into this isn't going to do a whole lot. What he did is he came over and hit these 2 units to knock them off the siege towers once again, just to slow them down. And now Epirus ran a unit of Citizen Cav all the way over to help against this. And surprisingly, they are still active. I would expect them to be exhausted by this point. Now, this mercenary Cappadocian Cav did finally get into combat. Had some kills at 52 right now. The 2 Royal Cav are 65 and 69. And then the Egyptian Cavalry is still running around wreaking havoc. Boii really is just kind of trying to figure out what it's going to do. Masasley has some of his armored desert cav coming to help now. Got the 2 units of Thracians and then the 2 units of Egyptian cavalry still around. The Thracian Royal Cav looks like it's just been taken, just pulling in and out on these charges against the Oathsworn. It's done decent damage, but nothing too crazy there. The Oathsworn's a really good unit. He needs to be careful, otherwise he's going to get hit by this other unit there. He might have gotten caught up. I think he might have gotten caught here, or at least one of them. But there he goes, he's getting out of that. The Egyptian Cav, once again, just getting in on the siege equipment, knocking them off the siege equipment, doing a real good job there. Egyptian cavalry coming this way. I think he's just pulling the Egyptian Cav back into the city instead of losing it. Now here comes the artillery from Galatia, hitting into some of these clumped up troops that have gotten this way because of the cavalry. By engaging the cavalry, they've kind of gotten clumped up and in bad spots. Egyptian Cav has done some cycle charging here between the different siege equipment. Now, surprisingly, Masasley is not. There we go. Now they're going to go in and just finish it off. But the Thracian Royal Cav is still hanging in there, 80 and 76. The Egyptian Cav made it back in, which is probably, like I said, a good idea. No point in wasting a unit if you're not going to get any more kills. Levy Freeman, I think, probably just chasing the Egyptian cavalry. Yep, there we go. He's moving away. Still getting shot. But you can see that wasted, a good 5 minutes of this entire attack here. This entire army could not move at that because of it. And not only that, it caused his teammates to have to micro sending units to go help him out. But that looks like it is going to be the end of number 2. Alright, and now for number 3, we have a 2v2 on the settlement of Persepolis, and defending, we've got a combination of Seleucid and Bactria. Then attacking, we have Nervii and Egypt. The sally out for this one is going to be a 2-pronged sally out. From this side, we have 1 unit of Bactrian Noble Cav coming out of the gate. And then on this side, hidden behind the cliff sides here, we have 3 units of cavalry that came around and made their way like this. These are 3 units of Bactrian Noble Horse. So in all, 4 units of Bactrian Noble Horse. Let's go ahead and hit play and we'll get this one going. So what's happening here is the 1 unit of Bactrian Noble Horse is moving this way. And what's probably going to end up happening here is Egypt is probably going to start moving Cav this way, and honestly, probably shift his archers this way. 2 things are going to happen here. If that's what happens, the artillery will be further exposed because the cavalry will be moving away from it, but it will also be bringing the archers closer to it. So, as you could see, the other Bactrian Noble Horse force is coming in on this side, but as of now is just now become visible. And honestly, Egypt's not doing anything, so I was wrong on that. So Egypt is not doing anything, which means that Bactria's Noble Horse is going to get a great charge into his units there. They got a good volley off and killed a couple there, but they just got hit hard there by that. Now, Nervii is moving in units to go surround that now. But what's interesting is the archers, Egypt didn't move his archers at all. Bactria is going to try and come in, just go through the archers and go straight for the Greek ballista. So, yeah, so this other Noble Horse force is honestly kind of wide open to do whatever it wants here. Got the 1 unit that came in here against the archers, and then the other 2 units came in this way against the against things like the Jinn and the ballista, that kind of stuff. And then getting into the citizen cavalry over here. Although honestly, I'm not sure why. Instead of going for this, he should have gone for that. which, yeah, he's kind of getting into the archers now. But right now, we've got the Bactrian Noble Horse taking out the Greek Ballista, which is huge on this settlement. With no Ballista, they can't really make us... They can't force the defenders out of this spot over here. But not only that, doing some... taking on the Gen and another Citizen Cav as well. This Noble Horse got through and has made his way through here and gotten into the more of the Egyptian archers there. And then this one, I think, is pretty much done. It did a solid amount of damage to that Citizen Cavalry, but, you know, honestly, in the end, it's done. It's what it was supposed to do, which is get into the archers, get into the ballista over here, and really just be a nuisance. So, I would say, all in all, this has been a very successful sally out. Especially, look at this. He's going to get into more archers back here because, like, once again, you know, this is just something that comes into the Cav, you know, the Cav world is you have to have the micro to defend against this stuff. You know, just practice that, you know, moving your units, responding as fast as possible to these things so that you can get your exposed units away from things like Cav. You know, 128 kills, 74 on that one, not as good, but, you know, the Cav on this has done very, very well. Egypt's archers have just gotten beat up there. You know, it's 47 men, 28 men, 16, you know, for Nervii, 92, 81. You know, they've all taken pretty good damage, and Egypt lost his ballista. So yeah, I would say all in all, this was a very successful sally out, especially for a 2v2. And that's going to conclude number 3. All right, and on number 4 of today's Sally Out compilation video, this is a 3v3, again on the city of Tarsus. Defending, we've got Mesacily, Saba, and Nabatea. And attacking, we have Arverni, Carthage, and Egypt. Sorry. As you can see, this battle is actually pretty far into it. So the sally out is coming from right over here, and it is quite a bit of a delayed sally out because most of the armies are already at the walls. Tortoises, towers, and everything are already at the walls here. Arverni is on this side, starting to move his army up. So let's go and hit play. As you can see, the Cav is starting to move on its way out of the gates. Once again, a little bit of a mosh pit, excuse me, coming out of this gate over here. You know, what, 6 units of cavalry and especially with a unit of chariots there, all trying to come out. This guy is like way out here. He came all the way out here. He was like, yeah, charge! And then turned around and realized that he was the only one out the gate. Where is his, like, Nabatean Noble Cav? I think his unit is still all the way back here. I don't think they're even out yet. Yeah. This guy got out way faster than his unit did. It looks like the first units that are really going to be kind of out here are going to be the Mesacily Armor Numidian riders, which he's going to go wide out this way. He's probably, yep, he's going right for that artillery. And what's interesting is the majority of the Cav force is actually going to cut right down the middle between the wall and Arverni, while the Mesacily Cav is coming out wide, which is not a bad idea. So Arverni's basically he's deciding that he needs to protect this artillery. So he's got his Cav over, his Gen over here, and then Egypt sent Egyptian Cav, which, to be honest with you, is not very good, to come help. Now Carthage has some Noble Cav coming. That'll be a lot more helpful. That Noble Cav is very good, but this Egyptian Cav is not very good at all. I think the Armored Numidian Cav is just going to try to go around here. There we go. So Arverni, his Gen, was able to counter it a little bit, But by now, Nabatia's got his cav coming in to help. And Saba is just coming in, and he's going to come in and took one unit and wraps around here. Another unit is going to clip the edge of the Arverni line, and then the final unit's coming back behind here. Not a terrible idea. I really don't know why Arverni was using fire shot there. It's really wasn't going to do anything. But yeah, Saba's cav, he was able to lock down the edge and then get that other unit back behind into the archers. And now this Camel Cataphracts is just really doing well. Actually, wow. Okay, so the Camel Cataphracts are losing against the Noble Blood Cav, or the Noble Cav. But I mean, they were already engaged when the Noble Cav came in, so that's probably why that the Camel Cataphracts really didn't get a charge. The Nabatea Noble Cav and the Armored Numidian Riders have done quite a bit of work on this Noble Horse for Arverni. I think what the Armored Numidian Riders were doing was wiping out the last bit of the artillery crew just to make sure they're off the battlefield. Well done by Arverni. Brought a sword unit to come help out the Carthaginian Noble Cav, trying to basically take on the Camel Cataphracts there. Unfortunately for them, they don't really have a great answer to these guys. All of their cav is going to be really at a disadvantage to the cataphracts. They scare your horses. Really, his infantry is just getting beat up here. He really he's got to kind of consolidate something. And yeah, I was going to say these guys need to get ready for cav. And you can see Egypt already is. Pikes are already out. Boxed up here, protecting his archers, getting this artillery inside of there. If I was a defender, I would really wish I had artillery left just to blast that real quick. You can see that the armored cataphracts are doing, or the camel cataphracts are doing a really good job here. They really did a number on Arverni's infantry. I think it looks like the combination of the Oathsworn and the Noble Cav from Carthage were able to deal with that other Camel Cataphract. So now the Noble Cav is going to come back and try and either engage Masacely here or do something. Carthage is the next one that they aren't really set up right now. I guess if Egypt wanted, he could maybe turn his artillery and maybe get some shots off, but I don't think that'd really be worth it. But yeah, they did work on Arverni over here. Arverni really does not have anything left. Chosen Swords, one Oathsworn, another Chosen Sword, and then he's got this Oathsworn all the way over here that's still chasing nothing. I don't know what... Oh, he's still chasing the broken Camel Cataphracts that he doesn't need to chase anymore. So these guys are going to be exhausted, and they're going to be a while before they get back in the combat. Looks like the Noble Cav were able to catch up here. Not really sure why Nabatea isn't maybe helping on that. But yeah, like the Noble Cav caught up with the Armored Numidians, and the Numidians are really getting beat hard there. Still also have the Camel Cataphracts from Saba, so he could also send something to help with that, and he's not. I'm not really sure why. Now, Nabatea did send out an Axe Warrior to go ambush the Gallic Hunters there, but the Oathsworn they'll make quick work of that. But, I mean, so he sent the Oathsworn into combat, but he didn't keep moving the archers away from the Axe Warriors. So he lost another, archer unit for just no reason. It's just, poor micro, unfortunately. That is a lot of times the reason Cav sallies are so effective is because if you can catch players with bad micro, that's where you get them, because you have to be able to micro these quick, fast situations. And if you can't, the enemy Cav is just going to tear you to pieces. Carthaginian Cav is just really just seeking refuge with the Egyptians here. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're even going to make it into the settlement over here just because they had to delay here. And now Arverni, there's no way Arverni's going to take this now against a combination of Nabatea and Saba, with Masacely holding off Carthage and Egypt pretty much. But yeah, so I think that pretty much concludes number 4. And now for number 5 of part 2 of the Sally Out compilation. This is a 4 versus 4 on the settlement of Tuliferdum. Defending, we have Parthia, Lusitani, Saba, and Pontus. And attacking, we have Egypt, Rome, Swaby, and Kush. So this is going to be a 2-part sally out. On this side, you can see there's already some troops headed out. Got a big force here by Pontus. A lot of Sarmatian Lancers, Eastern Cataphracts, Indian War Elephants. Yeah, a lot of Eastern Cataphracts, a lot of heavy cavalry. And then right behind them, about to come out, is Saba with a bunch of Camel Cataphracts. And then on the other side, we have a bunch of Pontus cavalry, Noble Blood Cav. I think it's 2 units of Noble Blood Cav and 3 units of Scythe Chariots. 2, 3. And actually, technically, now that I think about it, this would be a 3-part because Lusitani does have a small guerrilla warrior force here that is going to be going after these towers by Egypt. So we're going to go ahead and press play on this one. As you can see, this cavalry is coming out. They're really bunched up in here, especially with the elephants. So you can see it's a little bit hard getting them all out of the gate there. But they are starting to string their way out here. I mean, look at this. This Sarmatian Lancer has got like 5 guys out here. Like, oh, wait, man. Where's the rest? Oh, there. Come on, guys. Hurry up. And more Sarmatian Lancers, Eastern Cataphracts. A lot of the Eastern Cataphracts here, I think 3 units. Yep, 3 units and 3 units of Sarmatian Lancers. And on Pontus' side, does not look up. They just started moving. Yep, there we go. So, got the chariots moving. See, if I was him, I would have moved this Noble Blood Cav out of the way first, just to keep all this from happening. You can see the Parthians have a big wing coming out this way. What it looks like they're going to do is maybe a wrap around here. As you can see, Kush is aware of their presence. I mean, it's hard to miss that. So they are moving in a defensive line to protect their flank here. I'm not sure where Kush's archers are right now. I would assume they are somewhere in this area here. I did notice though that Swaby has 6 units of skirmishers here. They've got a couple of these Javi throwers and then a couple of the Germanic slingers. Yep, you can see Lusitani has just started getting into some of the thorax swords. In the end, I think the biggest thing they were doing was just kicking them off of their siege equipment and slowing them down a little bit. They both have a couple, like a solid, I don't know about a solid amount, but they both got some kills in that. Nothing too crazy, but he's pulling them off. I'm assuming just to hold on to them until the cav gets in. But this other unit is pushing really far out. I'm not sure exactly where he's going. Maybe he's going to try and sneak through. Yep, I think he's going to try and sneak into the artillery, and I'm not sure what Egypt's doing about it. Alright, got more of this cav is coming around. They're really, really pushing this flank here, which is going to continue to cause the Kush line to continue falling back like this to protect their flanks. But what it is also doing is exposing the flank of Rome and Swaby over there. Getting some charges in with the Sarmatian Lancers. Didn't get too many kills there. Probably didn't get a great charge. Alright, so now we can see Kush's archers. He's also got more than the 4 that most people play with. His Jin is also a Kushite archer. Yeah, and he's trying to get the Sarmatian Lancers in. Kush did a pretty good job of at least getting a unit in the way, but I'm betting, yeah, Parthia's just going right around it. Was not a great charge. Honestly, I think that he had probably already committed his attack here, and then the other unit walked in front of him, so the cav unit really was already targeted on something else, so it just kept running. On this side, Egypt is really just kind of adjusting its flank, kind of the way Parthia did. But what's interesting is Rome and Swaby really aren't doing anything to help on this. Kush is really going to start getting tore up over here, especially with this coming in. This big camel cataphract force is going to be destructive. They're all concentrated on the Parthian cav, including like the Indian war elephants. That this Saba cataphract force is going to be just very, very painful. Now, Rome and Swaby have made it up to the walls here, so that's probably why they aren't concentrating on that, or not helping really, is because they're concentrating on their attack. But the issue with this is this first force is going to get focused down. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 units of the attackers versus the entire armies of the defenders, while the rest of the attackers' armies are all sitting back here getting slaughtered by cavalry. So there's nothing to support this front line. Another big bonus to the to using cavalry. Look at the destruction that charge just hit. Oh man, it looks like about 30 kills just on that charge alone. This guy was 17. Looks like he maybe didn't get as good of a charge, and then this one is kind of wrapped around the battering ram. And here comes the other units, kind of wrapping in around here, trying to help out the war elephants. They've got 185 kills, pretty good start to that. I'm wondering, did he no? So I'm almost wondering if I was Kush, I would have probably moved my archers out of this. That was, oh man, Kush just got smacked right there. And you can see that Pontus is actually sending his cavalry force and his chariots and everything to go attack the units hitting the walls, which is a really good idea. The few units that hadn't made it up yet, they were still sitting out here exposed, so that was a pretty good target because they didn't really have a great target over here because Egypt had really formed up against them and done a good job on that. See, the war elephants at 250 now. They are 14 out of 24, so they have lost a couple. But they are going pretty strong. They're out of control, so Saba needs to be careful. He just sent his cavalry into the vicinity of these elephants that are out of control. But I think suffice to say that that Kush is pretty much out of this battle. Just the units that he's got left are very, very beat up, 71, 79, 56, 150, so on that one, pretty good, 114. But yeah, and they're still getting tore up. The Pontus chariots here, 280, 290, 37 on that one. Here comes more Noble Blood Cav with 117 kills. The side chariots here with 35. And they still have a chariot over here that I don't believe has been used yet. It's got 47 kills, so it's got some kills. But where's the one that 159? I mean, that one's doing great. There was one that was like 200 something. Where did it go? 177. It might be gone now. It might have been killed, but it got a ton of kills. Noble Blood Cav is just racking up kills on these archers here, or these slingers. There are 188 kills so far. The Noble Blood Cav over here with over 100. I think the chariots are now out besides this one. And, oh, this may not be good. So he's about to run right in front of these Roman infantry units. And if he's not careful, if this guy's paying attention, he's going to Pila the living daylights out of this unit. But I don't think he's going to. So the archers are getting some shots in, getting a couple kills. I don't know. Let's see. Where's he going? Oh, he might break before. Oh, he is wavering. No, don't run away. Yep. I think he's going to go down just because of that. Broken now with only 5 And then this Nobleblood is actually alive still. Saba is still tearing through over here. 201, 90, 50 on this guy, so not as much, but he's not doing much with that one. 52 on that guy. Pontus has a Nobleblood cat with 242, but look at Kush's army. It's just completely and totally decimated. 208. There we go, 269 on this chariot. Maybe that's the one I was trying to find earlier. Couple camel cataphracts that are running from the battle. And this guy's 153 now. But I mean, once again, just look at the destruction of Kush. Kush is just completely gone. Swaby is not going to be at fighting, like at full fighting capacity anymore. You know, his troops are tore up. Really, the healthiest armies here are going to be Rome and Egypt. And honestly, I think Egypt is probably the most healthy, just because Rome has been losing quite a bit up here. It's got a couple troops still doing good. Sociostati, Evocati, and Sociostati, but they are getting surrounded by Parthian swords, veteran shield warriors, mercenary hoplites. So once again, those guys are eventually going to get cut down just because they couldn't be supported because of all of this cav. I think that right there shows how effective a cav sally out can be. It is definitely an all-or-nothing type thing in this situation. So, but I think that is it for number 5. All right, and for the final sally out of this part 2 of the sally out compilation video, we have a 4 versus 4 on the settlement of Tur. And on the defender's side, we've got Pontus, Carthage, Nabatea, and Macedon. On attack, we've got Macedon, Seleucid, another Carthage, and Egypt. And as you can see here on Egypt's side, this is where the sally out's coming. From what I understand from the player who sent this to me, this battle was against a bunch of randoms, and they decided to be jerks and start the battle before the defenders got a chance to set up. So the defenders said that they were going to teach them a lesson by all sallying out and smacking one of these armies. So as you can see, majority of forces are coming right out of this gate right here. A little bit of a mosh pit. I kind of sped this up a little bit before I started the recording, just because, you know, it took a little bit to get all this out here. So let's go ahead and hit play. As you can see, they are all going to be sallying out against Egypt here, and so this is a massive force. Nabatea's gen is pushing out over here on the left flank of Egypt, going after either the gen and the giant ballista here. I got a shot off on that cavalry. Actually, Nabatea also has more troops coming this way. He's going to pull his gen back off of that because the the Ptolemaic cav would have done a pretty good charge on him. It's got to be careful. There's 2 units of Thuros spears here, but as you can see, right down the center, we have Pontus Macedon going straight into Egypt. Got a lot of Desert Legionaries, Armored Numidian spears, and Pontic swords. And then finally, Carthage's infantry coming in right behind him, as well as some archers. Looks like Nabatea is going to try and take this left flank, you know, engage on this side. Because we have both the General's Bodyguard and the Nabatea Noble Cav trying to take down the Ptolemaic Cav from Egypt. The Ptolemaic Cav is very good. They are losing because they're getting double-teamed, but if I was Egypt, I would have just sent that Thuro Spear into that combat rather than just sitting there throwing the spears. Getting the volley off first is not a bad idea, but he definitely should have gone in and supported his general there. His general is shot cav, so it really needs to do cycle charges, not get stuck into this combat the way it is. The ballista here has been trying to get some shots off before it goes down. I got a Thuro Spear holding off a Nabatean Axe Warrior, but as you can see, the Macedon infantry is just chewing right through this stuff. They need to be careful. They're walking straight into these pikes and somehow are not losing very many. They should be, you know, trying to get around it like this, or just shoot it, you know. You got some Pontic swords here that could really just turn right around and go right into them. There we go. And then got another thorough spear being hit here, and now the Desert Cohort getting flanked by Egyptian infantry. Now, wow, they had Carthage is right here. I did not see that. So Carthage is actually engaging the other Carthage. So what ended up being interesting, you know, most of Pontus and Macesali were engaged here, but the Carthaginian army never really got into combat, so it was able to shift off to this direction to fight the attacking Carthage army. They also have some support from the Nabatean Armored Desert Hoplites, but they are getting shot up right now by the Cretan archers. We've also got a Camel Spear unit from Seleucid over here. Must have been hiding out in this little like forested area there. Egypt is hanging on by a thread. They've got a couple units, thorough spears, looks like mostly. But their their slingers, yeah, their slingers are actually tearing apart some of these Pontic swords. This Carthage fight, a lot of the same stuff, Libyan infantry, Libyan hoplites, a lot of Libyan infantry going up against a lot of Libyan infantry. Also got a unit of mercenary noble fighters coming from the defending Carthage. I just noticed as well that these units are on large, not on ultra, because a lot of these, you know, these archers are only 90 men, these infantry are only 120. There any pikes in here? It doesn't look like it, but we do have a noble fighter going up against some Pontic swords. They're just gonna tear that to pieces. 91 and 20 kills there. Oh, but nice move by the Pontic swords. They're sneaking right through this gap, and they're going to go right for the archers there. The archers are going to kite them, but hey, it shuts the archers up for a little bit, allows the attacker, or the defenders that are now attacking to get a little ground here without being focused down by these Cretan archers. They do need to be careful of the camel spears, though. Now, Egypt looks like they're going to kind of box off a little bit here. Not box off, but they're pulling off to this side so they're not so spread out. Got two thorough spears holding the line, and then they still have their Galatian Royal Guard, which is getting tons of kills. Big downside to Macesali. They have great, affordable mid-tier infantry. Their biggest downside is they do not have a top-tier infantry, which means that they don't have an answer for the Galatian Royal Guard. That Galatian Royal Guard might be the best top-tier infantry in the game. So for Macesali not to have anything, they basically are just going to have to overpower it by numbers. That Galatian Guard is at 227 kills, and one-on-one, none of these guys can beat it. They might be able to now that it's more of an even fight. Not this, though, because 91 versus 109. But what Egypt needs to do is hit that really hard while they're at it. As you can see, the attacking Carthage is also being just beat to shreds here. They're getting some great shots from their Cretan archers into Nabatea right here. And their noble fighters are doing great. But not sure why he's pulling off. I would maybe try to... it's a Rakim Ballast Guard. That might be why. 160 kills and 51 kills on these two noble fighters. The defending Carthage needs to be careful here because these guys are going to tear this area up if they're not careful. They will tear through these Rakim Palace Guard and the Libyan infantry. So they need to be really careful of that, especially because this right side is holding pretty strong, except for this right here. Got the Carthaginian hoplites about to come in and flank this battle line for the attacking Carthage. What happened to Seleucid's camels? They must have been shattered. I guess I'm guessing by the archers. Maybe they weren't paying attention to that, and the archers were able to shoot them down. Now, Egypt here is actually making some good headway. They're actually forcing Massaceae and Pontus back in. Although I think it's probably more... I don't even know, because like Pontus seems to be doing okay over here. Seleucid is pushing pretty hard, but I mean, it looks like, yeah, they're getting stretched a little thin. So I'm wondering if Massaceae and Pontus are just pulling back in to shore up the defenses, while the defending Carthage decides to stay and finish off the attacking Carthage. Because if they can finish that off, I think they're good. Oh, well, I'm an idiot. Duh. So Macedon is basically into the settlement uncontested. So that's really the reason why they're having to fall back, is to defend against Macedon. Because really, you've only got bronze shield pikes. And that's it, defending the point right now. So Massaceae and Pontus are basically rushing back in to defend against Macedon. I kind of forgot that there was a fourth attacker. I was kind of wondering about it. I was like, why? There's four defenders. Why don't we have 4 attackers? Oh, that's right, because the 4th attacker is Macedon, and they're back here. Got slingers. Looks like 3 units of slingers. Shield bearer gen. I wouldn't suggest that. They might have brought it for the money, though. Oh, no. Why'd you do that? They walked through the gate. So they burned down the gate and walked through it, and oil destroyed them. So the bronze shield pikes just got annihilated by Javi throws from the thorax swords, and I think it was all thorax swords here. They do have a unit of foot companions there. Yeah, these thorax swords just use their pila, and the slingers also just annihilated the bronze shield pike. But when it comes to the sally out, it's pretty much done. So Carthage now has done really, really heavy damage against the other Carthage, but Egypt now is starting to flank around them. Massaceae and Pontus pretty much they had to fall back. So now, that's kind of the downside here. This is an all or nothing sally out. This was everything against one army, but unfortunately there was another army that was close enough to support, which means that they really weren't able to focus everything on the one army like they wanted to. I would say it was relatively successful because they didn't lose that much, although I think they're about to lose one of their armies. It does mean that this army is tying down everything over here. You know, this one army is being a nuisance to the attackers. So, but yeah, as you can see, majority of the sally out is over. Carthage is going to move in against Egypt and try and finish off these guys over here. But yeah, majority of this sally out is done. I would say it was relatively successful. They destroyed quite a bit of Egypt and quite a bit of Carthage, and they still have plenty of troops left to defend the settlement. So that is going to be it for part 2 of the Sally Out compilation. I truly hope you guys enjoyed this. It was a cool little idea that I had. I really hope that you guys enjoyed. If you like it or want me to do other things similar to it, say so in the comment section. Let me know what you think. And I hope you guys have a good one. Everyone, please be safe, and we'll see you next time.